Hello everyone, I am Isabella Fermin and I will continue the other books or parts of Aristotle Nicomachean Ethics. In Book 7, Aristotle highlights the importance of self-restraint, or also called as temperance or moderation. He explains that true virtue lies in the following the middle road, avoiding extremes of excess and deficiency. Self-restraint, therefore, becomes a central quality a person must develop in order to live a balanced and virtuous life. Before we proceed to Book 8, I want to ask you one question. If you had all the money, success, comfort in the world but no friends, do you think you would truly feel happy? Why or why not? Thank you for your answer. In Book 8, Aristotle turns to friendship, which he sees as an essential part of human life and happiness. He famously says, without friends, no one would want to live even if he had all other goods. This means that even if a person has wealth, power, or success, life would feel empty without the bonds of genuine friendship. For Aristotle, friendship is not just a personal matter, but a social necessity. It holds communities together and makes life meaningful. According to Aristotle, there are three types of friendship. So number one is useful, built on usefulness, where people benefit from one another. This friendship lasts only as long as the benefit does. The second one is pleasant, based on enjoyment, such as companionship in hobbies, games, or entertainment. These are often seen among young people and can fade when the pleasure is no longer shared. And the last one is complete. This is the highest type of friendship and most valuable form of friendship. In this kind of bond, friends appreciate each other for who they truly are, not for benefits or pleasures. It is based on mutual respect, trust, and the shared pursuit of goodness. This is the type of friendship everyone should strive for because it is lasting and deeply fulfilling. In book number 9, Aristotle continues talking about friendship here, but he makes it more personal. He says if you're in a bad friendship, it's probably because you're expecting something the other person can't really give. Or maybe they're expecting something from you that you can give. Either way, that mismatch will leave both people disappointed. And honestly, in that case, it's better to let go of the friendship rather than forcing it. But Aristotle doesn't just stop at warning us about bad friendship. He explains that a true friend is like a second self. Think about it. When you have a real friend, you will almost feel like you're talking to yourself, except in a kinder and more supportive way. That's why friendship is so important to happiness. If you're sad, your friend can cheer you up. If you're struggling, your friend can lift you. Without friends, life becomes so harder and lonelier. So, knowing yourself first and building genuine connections with others is a key. Always remember, a friend reflects who you are, so choose wisely and be the kind of friend you'd want to have. According to Aristotle's final book of the Nicomachean Ethics, happiness is tightly linked with pleasure. All beings, whether rational or irrational, instinctively tend toward pleasure and away from pain. The only life worth living is the one in which you enjoy the right things in the right amounts, because basically that is what happiness is. Key lessons from Nicomachean Ethics. So the first is, Aristotle says that self-help books are a good thing. Aristotle believed that just thinking or talking about being good is useless unless you actually live it out. A person is not judged by what they say, but by what they do. For example, someone who always talks about honesty but lies in real life is not truly honest. They are hypocritical. In the same way, Aristotle argued that studying ethics should not stay at the level of ideas. The goal of philosophy is not just to know what is good, but to teach people how to practice goodness in real life. Just like self-help books today, reading them won't make your life better unless you put the advice into action. Being good is not about appearance, it is about consistent actions that reflect virtues. The second key lesson is one can learn to be good. Aristotle gives hope by saying that goodness is not something you are simply born with, it can be learned. People become virtuous by practicing virtues over time. For example, you don't become courageous in a single day. You grow in courage by facing small fears again and again until bravery becomes part of your character. However, learning to be good takes hard work and discipline. It is not easy and ignorance is not an excuse. You can say, I didn't know stealing was wrong, so I am not guilty. Aristotle insists that you are always capable of learning what is right and wrong, so responsibility is always falls on you. Always remember, no one is stuck being bad. Every person has the ability to improve and train themselves to be good, but it requires effort and choice. The last key lesson is the golden mean. The most important lesson in Aristotle's ethics is the idea of the golden mean. This means that virtue is always found in the middle ground between too much and too little of something. Extremes are harmful, while balance leads to goodness and happiness. For example, too little generosity or never sharing is equals to wastefulness or giving away everything carelessly. Real generosity lies in giving the right amount at the right time. So this principle applies to all areas of life, emotions, actions, and decisions. The middle path keeps us steady and virtuous. So always remember the best life is a balanced life. Avoiding extremes allows people to act with wisdom, fairness, and self-control. To summarize, Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics tells us three things. So first is goodness is action, not talk. Virtue must be lived, not just studied. The second one is goodness can be learned. Anyone can grow in virtue with effort and practice. And lastly, virtue is balance. The golden means teach us that the right way is the middle way between extremes. Eudaimonia, the ultimate good. Eudaimonia is what defines the good life. To live a good life is to live a happy life. For Aristotle, eudaimonia is only possible by living a life of virtue. For him, the ultimate goal of human life is eudaimonia, which means living a happy, flourishing, and meaningful life. This is not just about survival or temporary pleasure, but about living well and with purpose. He explained that everything we do has an end or goal and the means, which is the way to achieve it. Some goals like earning money are only steps toward bigger purposes such as survival. But Aristotle asked, is there a final end that is not just a means to something else? He concluded that this ultimate end is to live well, the good life itself. Although people may define happiness differently through wealth, power, or pleasure, Aristotle believed that not all desires are equal. He distinguished between apparent goods, things we want but may not truly benefit us, like fame or luxury, and real goods, things we actually need and are good for everyone, like food, friendship, and knowledge. According to Aristotle, the real goods that we should all aim for are: first, bodily goods. This includes health, strength, vitality, and pleasure. They are essential for physical well-being. The second one is external goods. These include food, drink, shelter, clothing, and rest. They are necessary for survival and comfort. And lastly, goods of the soul. These include knowledge, skills, love, friendship, self-esteem, honor, and aesthetic enjoyment. Unlike bodily and external goods, which can be excessive, goods of the soul are unlimited. We can never have too much of them, and they bring the deepest fulfillment. Among the moral virtues, Aristotle emphasized three as most important. So first is moderation. It helps us avoid excess and live in balance. The second one is courage. It gives us the strength to face challenges and to do what is right. And lastly, justice. It allows us to live fairly with others and build cooperation and friendship. These virtues ensure that we aim for what is truly good instead of being misled by what only seems good. So, in conclusion, Aristotle admitted that even with wisdom and virtue, the good life is not entirely within our control. Circumstances such as health, wealth, and the environment of our birth are partly shaped by fortune or luck. Therefore, a truly good and meaningful life requires a combination of virtue, wisdom, and good fortune.